It's a lovely day here. Get in my belly! No, what is wrong with you? I'm out of here. Aw, that's sad. What is wrong with the people around here? Get in my belly! Oh my goodness. Let's just get it over with. I'm tired of this place. Oh. Back to another video, and today, well, we're going to be taking a look at an epic evolution figure. It is the Gryposuchus. So I guess let's jump into this. And also Merry Christmas, so since I'm filming this on Christmas. But anyways, let's actually get this guy out of the box. Let me just get some scissors first. Or just something to cut these wires. Very tricky. There's another set back here. Very tricky to get that out. Okay, there we go. So we got our main Gryposuchus out of the packaging. And now we just gotta get that tail all the way back there for some reason. I'll just do that off camera though. But anyways, I got the tail out of the packaging. Let's just attach that in real fast. Very nicely. And we have our Gryposuchus. This is a very lovely figure. But first, let's start looking at the head, I guess. Has very nice detailing. Also, these individual teeth are absolutely beautiful, so it's really nice that they're starting to move these to the actual mainline figures and not only on the Hammond Collection ones. It's nice texturing, and it's nice osteoderms. Also, legs are more a scrunch position unlike another crocodilian that they've released. Then it has more of like a fin-like scoots on the end of its tail, which it only goes in one row for some reason. But all in all, this is a very nice figure, and also the underside, though it kind of has like a bunch of stuff under there, but it does have some nice kind of crocodilian scooting on the underside, which is very good, as always. Now let's get the scan code, because this is like the one epic evolution figure that I've been like actually seeing that I cannot get that scan code up on for some reason, since it's like in the box. But yeah, here it is, so you guys can finally get in your collection if you want it. But, yeah, that is about it for that. Now let's move on to the action feature, which there's a little scroll up here that you can scroll. And the figure can do this. A very nice sound effects. You can also, like, kind of pose it. Roll it halfway to keep it actually open, which just fell back like that, but it's really funny. You can also just go. Also, what's really nice about this figure is that it's the first kind of like Cenozoic animal we've gotten, because this Gryposuchus is actually from the Miocene. Because technically, well, we did get a fox that one time, and we have human figures, but we don't count those. But like, this is the first Cenozoic like extinct animal we've gotten. And it's a really nice one, so hopefully we'll get some other ones in the future, maybe the Smilodon from Camp Cretaceous, or even like a Terror Bird I could see them doing. But maybe the next crocodilian they'll do is Deinosuchus, because I'm actually surprised they have not done that one yet, due to how popular it is. But I am happy they did this figure, because they probably wouldn't have done it in the future otherwise. Now on to the size comparison. Well, let me just scoot this figure all the way back there. And get my tape measurer, in which this figure is about 13 inches in length, so it's pretty long, and in height, which tallest point I'd say is probably close to the head, is about 2 inches, and the hip, just to be safe, is also about 2 inches. But yeah, and let's actually compare it to some things now. Let's start our size comparison with something pretty simple. A Velociraptor. Pretty decent size compared to it. Also, probably could grab it into its jaws, just due to the size of the figure. Very nice. Next, we have a human figure, which let me see if I can get it to stand. But yeah, there you go. Human figure is pretty nicely sized compared to this guy. And again, also could probably be grabbed by the Gryposuchus. It kind of can chomp on some things. Then we have, for some reason, the fox. This is the other kind of Miocene animal we've gotten. Well, not Miocene, Cenozoic animal. And it can actually chomp it up. Now on to the actual kind of more interesting things to compare this to. First, let's do the obvious one. Sarcosuchus. This was like bound to come at some point, the size comparison, but yeah. They're very close in size, like, let me see if I can raise my camera. But they're very close in size. Well, somewhat, but the Sarcosuchus is quite a bit larger. Then if I get this back down here, you can also see that the Sarco is much taller. And, in fact, could probably grab the gryposuchus in its jaws, it's so large. But yeah, that's our first size comparison. And you can actually see they do share some similarities. The main difference that is like really good is that the teeth are not like molded in, which these teeth could probably break very easily, while these ones are rubbery, so they just kind of bend, and also they're individually sculpted and look really nice. And another thing is that the Sarcosuchus is actually standing up, while the gryposuchus is more crouched down, laying down, so that probably helps to see why it's taller, but even then, I don't think that'll change too much. Also, the Sarcosuchus has 2 rows of spikes down its tail. Gryposuchus only has 1 for some reason. On to the next size comparison is the Siamosaurus, which this one is really close in size to it. But yeah, this guy, a lot of people just call this an accurate Spinosaurus for some reason. But yeah, these guys are pretty nicely sized up compared to each other. You can just kind of chomp right there. But yeah, very nicely. They size up pretty nice with each other, and the colors are kind of similar as well. Which I actually kind of forgot to talk about on this figure. Has kind of a orangey salmon pink color, a very light pink on the inside of the mouth, and then a darker blue, which the paint goes down to here on the stomach, and here on the tail, which I know a lot of people were complaining about the lack of paint, and then like Dino Trackers came along, and people were like, oh yes, there's so much paint on these, which... And also a few of the Epic Evolution figures too, which they have very similar amounts of paint as the older figures, just the Mattel would actually kind of split it up. They do some on the front half and then some on the end half to make it look like there's more paint on the figure, while in reality it actually has about the same amount of paint. Which on the Epic Evolution figures, I think there is a bit more, and they still do the same method, so it actually looks like the paint works, and they kind of leave the paint out in the areas that make more sense for there would be less paint. And paint where it's actually needed. So, yeah, that's one thing. That's where the paint job actually looks pretty nice on these newer figures. Next, let's compare it to Kronosaurus, which I feel the Kronosaurus could have been a bit larger. I think it probably should have been in, like, the gigantic tracker range, which would have been really cool, but we already got another marine reptile in that size range. But, yeah. Maybe one day we'll get a re-release of Kronosaurus, maybe a different species, though. But, yeah. Next, we have the Liopleurodon, which is really large, which is really tall. He has extremely long fins, though the Beefhair Liopleurodon actually kind of made more sense to be in this size range, since it is a smaller pliosaur. Which, let me just get it out of the frame. And now we move on to our last thing that we're comparing it to. The Elasmosaurus, which this thing is so big it doesn't even fit in the camera. Just because of its giant neck. But yeah, here they are together. Do that and down. And Gryposuchus, you probably just grab onto its neck. But yeah, very nice. Now for my final thoughts on this figure. It is very nice. It's honestly one of the best figures we've gotten from Mattel recently. The new teeth are one of the best things I've ever seen, and they just look really nice. And they're like actually kind of like distance. We've come so far when it comes to prehistoric creature teeth in our figures, and also just the detailing is really nice on these, which is usually the case on like non-dinosaur reptiles and other prehistoric creatures. They usually do give them really nice detailing, but just in general on the even on the dinosaur figures for this new wave, they look like that. So yeah, I guess Merry Christmas, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.